Welcome to Will Toronto-U.S. Coffee Chat Series. My name is Pelin, and I'm the Will Toronto-U.S. Chapter Events Lead. And I'm here with Zeenat Khoja to discuss the topic of resiliency. Zeenat is currently the National Sales Director for the Biomedicines Business Unit at Eli Lilly, Canada. Zeenat is also known for her passion for coaching and inspiring people. She has recruited top talent and built diverse teams and led cultural transformation, such as leadership development initiatives and diversity and inclusion, where she received global recognition for her efforts. Zeenat is a mother of two, is fluent in both French and Spanish. She enjoys traveling and salsa dancing. Welcome, Zeenat. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Let's dive into it. Tell us, what is resiliency?
So, well, again, I wanted to say again, thank you, not just for having me, but for actually spending time on this topic. So I think now more than ever, it's really important that we actually spend some time on this concept of resiliency and self-care. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, I think resiliency for me really means it's the ability to bounce back, get through challenges, come back, get through it, come back stronger, and move forward. So in a nutshell, that's how I would define resiliency.
Awesome. It's such an important concept. And I feel like we don't talk about it enough, like especially in the workplace. So tell us, why is resiliency so important to professional women in particular?
Sure. I mean, the more that we try to challenge ourselves to do more, to be more. So you talk about professional women, often we're mothers, daughters, sisters, caregivers, and also we're trying to build a career, do more, be more. And inevitably, when you are that type of person, when you try to do more and be better and make the best out of everything, you will naturally come upon challenges. So challenges could be, anything from traumatic stress events, it could be life-changing events like a divorce, a death in the family, and of course, there can be chronic stresses. So chronic stresses that come with, working long hours, the constant pressure we put upon ourselves to be the best and to deliver exceptional results. Over time, these can wear on us. Lack of sleep, lack of good nutrition, exercise, all these things can contribute to stress. So as a professional woman, it is inevitable that you are going to run into challenges, difficult things, because that's what we do. That's how we grow and that's how we live. Mm-hmm. And so for that reason, especially for that reason, it's so important to have resiliency. It's important for leaders. It's important for mothers. It's important, they say you need to put your mask on first. So in order to be able to take care of others, do for others, you first need to have your own care. Your mask needs to be on. So that's really critical.
That's so true. You're right. As women, we're always multitasking, even though they tell us multitasking is not great. One of the ways that I hear that women can build their resiliency is through self-care. In today's day and age, as you mentioned, with all those responsibilities and commitments, it becomes so hard to spend time on the self-care regimen. So how can we as women prioritize that self-care?
Yeah, I think the first thing is you have to make that shift from this is something that would be nice to do. It's a luxury and something that's a bit of a selfish thing to do, and change your way of thinking to this is really critical. It's a must do. So self-care is critical. It's not selfish. And I think that's the first shift that needs to take place in order to be able to make this part of your life. And then I would say the other thing is start small and keep it really simple. So, don't try to, set yourself up for, I'm going to work out 5 days a week and I'm going to wake up and meditate an hour every day. setting up these sort of super difficult, big stretchy goals of things to do can actually set you back, because inevitably things will get in the way and we've already set ourselves up to fail. Now, on the other hand, if you start simple, it could be as simple as, when it's lunchtime, walk away from your computer. Don't do any work, don't pick up the phone, walk outside, make sure you're eating. It could be as simple as that. It could be, like I said, take a walk, sit down and cuddle with your dog or color with your child. Like it could be as simple as that. And I would say, start small, you'll see the benefit, and then the positive feedback loop will start, and you'll see, oh, okay, I can do this again, and it was good, and I had a great experience, and I can do it again, I can do it again. And then you can sort of start to build up and maybe do more. That's what I would say, is start, make it a priority and start small.
Awesome. No, those are some great pieces of advice. So looking at the concept of self-care and how it's so important to resiliency, as you stated. And I've also read somewhere that it increases productivity. So putting two and two together, it seems to me that organizations would want to encourage self-care among their employees. So what do you think organizations, or what role do you think organizations can play in that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And they play a critical role. And I have to say, first off, I work with an organization that prioritizes well-being and self-care. And so I count myself lucky, because I do know of others, colleagues of mine, friends of mine that work in organizations that really don't do a good job of this. So, I would say that they need to do three things. Leadership of organizations need to lead by example, and they need to create the structure and the cultural setting, the cultural environment, in order to prioritize self-care for everyone and well-being for everyone. So starting with maybe structural norms, structural and cultural norms, having a rule such as no meetings after 4 p.m., no meetings before 8, no meetings after 4. And that is a rule that everyone adheres to, from the president of the company, across the organization. And that is such a critical thing that seems so small, but it really does send clear message that well-being is important, that when you're not working, you do need to disconnect completely. And it improves well-being. How productive are we really when we're working into the hours of the afternoon and the evening, and just burning out? So I think that's a great example of a structural norm. When you're on vacation, be on vacation. So, I have friends who, they receive emails on Sunday nights from their boss, or during vacation time, they're expected to call in or join me. How do you disconnect? Those are really, really critical times when you need to step away. And so if leading by example as a leader means not only you've put that structure, you've put those rules in place, but you're adhering to it. You as a leader are not emailing, your direct reports at, midnight, and things. And then of course, setting up structure around, benefits like access to mental health services, reimbursement for gym memberships, other types of well-being activities, yoga during the day, bringing those types of things in. Organizations can do so much to help the well-being of their employees.
I love that. Those were some great ideas. My last question to you is, since we've been living in this pandemic era, we hope will end soon, but I don't know when that will be. How do you see the professional woman building that resiliency during these pandemic times?
Yeah. So I'm so glad you asked about that. Obviously, it's so timely. And, when you and I initially spoke about coming together to talk about this, that was before Omicron, and everyone was, man, things are going to open up. We're getting to the end of the tunnel. And then look what happened. I think it's important for people to understand what we've been going through for the past, 2 years now almost. So Dr. Roger McIntyre is a psychiatrist that you may have heard on CBC radio or whatever. And he talks about this concept of chronic unpredictable stress, and that what we're going through, what we're living through right now in the pandemic is just this chronic unpredictability and this chronic unpredictable stress. So we don't know what's going to happen. We have this worry around us, and it's interminable. Our brains are not used to living through this. Our brains are used to stress being short, predictable, and with an endpoint. You can see, an acute stress, it's going to be short, it's predictable, when it's going to end. We've been living in a situation where it's unpredictable, but there's no end to it. And what that does is, of course, people don't generally feel good, feel, not motivated, tired. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. But what also happens is your brain function can change. So going through this for a long period of time actually kills brain tissue. And so you may, exactly. And so you may find yourself like, my memory is not what it used to be. Maybe I'm not on and I'm not up, for this meeting, or maybe I start missing deadlines, or maybe, I'm not bringing my best to those professional situations where I need to be my best. So more important than ever that people understand. And as leaders, as women who are leaders too, we need to understand that's what our people are going through as well. So have that empathy for others and have that empathy for yourselves. And again, I'll go back to, make it a priority, do the small things. I'll share one really great thing that I've started to do that's helped me a lot. So I don't know if you've heard this author, Julia Cameron, and it's a book called The Artist's Way. And it's actually a book, very, very famous book that was created to help unblock creativity. But there's this thing that she suggests that you do, and it's called morning pages. So I don't know if you've heard about it before. But it's something that I've done that has helped me with my well-being in a way that I can't even believe. So it's the very simple act of every morning before anything, before I get out of bed, I take a journal and I write 3 pages. I just free write whatever is in my brain. It doesn't matter if it makes any sense. If I can't think of anything to write, I'll just write, I can't think of anything to write. I can't think, and just do that for 3 pages. And the first thing you do in the morning, just empty your brain out onto paper, and you'll see. I mean, I'll tell you by experience, it has been just an amazing tool. Again, something really simple to help with building resilience and making sure you do self-care.
That's amazing. I've not heard of that technique before, but I like that idea. I've in the past done journaling, but I mean, I haven't. My problem is I'm not as consistent, so I think that consistency is really important as well. But I loved hearing about all your tips on how we can stick to self-care regimens and some ideas there. So thank you for that wealth of information, Zeenat, and thank you for being my guest here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And again, such an important topic. And I'm really glad that we're taking the time to talk about this.
Awesome. That's so great. And for our viewers, stay tuned for more in our Coffee Chat series.